Hi, my name is Kate. I'm also known as Two Little Kits, and welcome to my FlossTube. I have been putting off starting recording this FlossTube for like 2 hours now, and I don't really know why. I think it's kind of because today is feeling very stressful. So let's get started. I know I say this a lot, but I feel like this episode could be kind of short. Look, like I've been going through my notes of what I've noted down over the last 2 weeks, and it's not a lot, including the amount of works in progress, which is weird. It's kind of strange, but it is what it is. I'm thinking that we will get started with finished pieces, because I actually have 3 finished pieces, which is pretty cool. They are the 3 gifts for my family that I think I shared the designs that I did for them. Maybe I didn't. I can't remember. My memory is so bad. Hopefully I did. The 3 designs that I made based off of patterns by, I think, Colourfully Sarah. And yeah, I've stitched them all. They're all complete. Let's start with the one for my oldest daughter. I obviously haven't hooped these and anything like that, but they've been washed and pressed. So they're ready, and I've got the pieces of fabric that are going to go on the backs of all the pieces. But this is the first one. This one's for my oldest daughter. I can even hold up that and you can get an idea of what it'll look like. So this is Isabel from Animal Crossing, and just some things from Animal Crossing, the game. It's one of her favorite games. She also loves a bus driving game, which I'm not surprised about, to be quite honest. But yeah, so this is for her. The second one is for my youngest daughter. That's what it'll be. This is, if you don't know, this is Totoro from, I can't remember what the movie's called. I'm gonna look it up. Oh, My Neighbor Totoro. Duh. Yeah, there's a scene in the movie where he's standing in the rain, and technically he doesn't have a massive umbrella, but I thought this was cute with all the massive raindrops around him. So she really likes the movie, and yeah, so there's that one. And the last one is for my husband, which is a little bit smaller. So I stitched these 2 on 16 count fabric so that they would fit in the 4-inch frame, because the other pieces that I've done the last 2 years for my girls, they are in 4-inch frames. So I'm committed to making sure that each piece will be framed in a 4-inch frame, a 4-inch hoop, sorry. But anyway, this one for my husband is on 14 count, and I've sort of been umming and ahhing about whether to put this in a 4-inch hoop or in a 3-inch hoop, and I think I've settled on a 4-inch because the 3 is really tight, and I think this will just look cuter in a 4-inch hoop. I am considering maybe doing it like up here and adding some writing of some sort, but I don't know. I think it'll be just the Gengar. It's his favorite Pokemon. So, but yeah. Rawr. So those 3 are stitched and done, and I just gotta, yeah, put them in hoops. And I've just noticed that one of the hoops is a little different because I accidentally grabbed my special fancy beechwood one. Sorry, family, you gotta have the bamboo ones. Anyway, so that's those. So that's my finished pieces. Yay! So let me know which one you like, and yeah, I'm curious what one you think is the coolest or the cutest, or yeah, and let me know what you think my kids will think. I'm pretty certain that my youngest is going to love her Totoro one. I'm nervous about my oldest getting the Animal Crossing one. I'm always nervous about gifting her something that I've made because she has no chill. Anyway, let's continue. Let's move on to works in progress. I only have 3 things to show you, and one of them isn't even cross stitch. So we will start with this one, which is my flower field, and I've been hanging it off my desk because I actually officially trimmed off the excess fabric because I know for certain that it's not going to do any more than 1 extra line down the bottom, and because I trimmed it, it's been starting to fray, as you can see, like the little wispy bits. So I just put some no fray on it because I actually did that around the whole of the fabric before I started the whole thing, and yeah, that was a really smart idea. Anyway, this is my flower field. I am all caught up, and including today, which is the 13th. It's Friday 13th today. But yeah, I'm all caught up, and so I would expect I'll get about 6, maybe 7 more flowers on this bottom row down here, and then that will mean we'll have like a week and a half, if my maths is correct, which I don't think it is, of flowers down the bottom. So I'm going to have heaps of excess space, which I am brainstorming and would love to hear your suggestions about what to potentially add down the bottom. I am thinking, like, my default is to leave it and not do anything. My only other thought is to do a little billboard sort of style thing, like this one up here down the bottom, either in the opposite corner, just as much space as I need, or from the final flower outwards, and doing like some text. I don't know what. Like normally if this was a temperature blanket, it's not a blanket, if this was a temperature piece, then I would do where I live, but it's not. So I am not sure if there's even anything to add onto a signpost kind of thing. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts about what I could add. Let me know in the comments below what you think. So there's that one. But yeah, there's not many more flowers to go. How many days left in the year? 19 days. Okay, so a week and a half down the bottom. Yeah. Okay, my maths is decent. Go me. The next work in progress I have is here, which I've done a fair bit on. I've even done a lot of going back and finding missing spaces. But this is Night of the Frost Dragon. I am pretty far behind now because section 4 was released. I don't remember what she's calling each release. I think that's mostly Lola Crow that does names for things. I think she just calls them parts. So there's part 4 was released this week, which is down the bottom here, and I've chosen so there's a person in that section, and I've chosen to do one of the variations that she included in the part, because I don't like the little antlers that were on top of the head of the person, and one of the variations had really cool looking hair. So yeah, but yeah, I'm doing parts 1 and 2 still. It's looking a lot more fleshed out. Like I said, I have been going back and filling in bits that I missed, because when I was starting stitching it, I had this in a big hoop, but the hoop was not allowing me to stitch like this stuff down here. So I have gone back and fixed a couple of things, or added, sorry, a couple of things that were missing. I've also fixed a couple of things, like I think this is a penguin here, this dude here, and I did the cheeks, and you can't see it, but the eyes, because the eyes are black, I did them with 3 squares in between rather than 4, so I had to fix that. And the feet, the little orange lines, I did them 1 row too high, so I had to unpick that and fix that. Yeah, I feel silly having added black, I'll be honest, but actually in this light, because I was stitching downstairs, in this light you can see the black, so that makes me feel better. I was always going to stitch it. I wasn't going to do what some patterns do and leave white spaces empty, for example. But yeah, there is actually one thing that I saw someone do on Reddit where they've done gridding like I have, where you can see the back, where it's sewing thread, and I've made a little crosshair at every point. And if you don't know, because I did mention this a few FlossTubes ago, this is the halfway point. So everything here down is actually 1 square too low. So this whole bottom row is down 1. And I've kind of compensated a little bit. This purple flower is a little squished up. It's shorter because I started stitching it wrong, like I didn't notice before I started stitching. And this red one is in the wrong spot, but now that I've seen part 4, I know that that's not going to conflict with anything. And this gem, I think it is, I think's in the wrong spot as well. But anyway, my point is, what I saw someone doing on Reddit was, as they were working and sort of they'd fleshed out a section a bit so they could work off of previous stitches, they've been cutting and removing the guides so that they can stitch over them and not have to worry about it. Because I have noticed that sometimes my needle wants to go through the sewing thread, which I don't want to have happen, because I want to be able to unpick the guidelines really easily. And I'm worried. I've only ever done guidelines like this once, and I still haven't finished the piece. It was the Stranger Things sampler that I designed, and I started test stitching, which I haven't finished. Which I should work on that, because the last season's coming out soon, so that would be good timing. Anyway, so that's that work in progress. Those are the only 2 cross-stitch work in progresses I can show you. And the reason why I don't have another one that you might have expected if you have watched my FlossTube before is I finished my car project. But I washed it a couple of hours ago and it's still dripping wet. So I decided that's okay. I'm going to share it next FlossTube because I already had 3 finished pieces that I was able to show you this week. So in 2 weeks, you'll be able to see the finished piece of that one, which will be awesome. But the last work in progress I have is this blanket, which you would have seen in the thumbnail. I am super proud of this. This is going to be, I honestly can't remember if I talked about this blanket in the last FlossTube because it has come up really quick. I know that I shared my lap blanket with the big squares, like that big. I haven't touched that because I've been enjoying working on this one. So this one is for my youngest daughter. She asked very nicely if she could also have a lap blanket. We went to the craft store. I said she could pick out 2 balls of yarn that were big enough to do this and in the right size of like yarn weight. She picked this because it's her school colours. Yeah, I looked up online some granny squares designs and she picked one of like the easiest designs. So I've just been whizzing through this. It's currently 4x6, which, and it's got all these still. I have stitched up 6 more green ones as well because the whole thing is only going to be 6x6 because it is supposed to just be a little lap blanket and she has a very tiny little lap. The good thing is I have sewn in half of the straggly threads. So these 2 rows up here are all clean and then these ones I still have yet to do. I will be working on all these next time I sit down to work on it because I really don't want to sit down and connect squares and then the last thing I have to do is weave in ends because that just sounds like a really bad time. So yeah. I also have a colour that she picked from what I already had, which is the same weight as this yarn, these 2 yarns, that is going to be for the border. I don't really like what she's picked personally, but it's for her. It's kind of like this, it's the same brand as this and the same style within the brand. So it's this mottled sort of fade into different colors kind of look, but it's a creamy white kind of color. So we'll see how it looks. Hopefully she has picked a nice color that and will like sort of prove me wrong. So yeah, so let me know what you think. I know I probably should have blocked all of these squares before I sew them all together, but I didn't, so oh well. I am planning on blocking it once the whole thing is done though, so hopefully that will help, especially this sort of scalloped look that's on top. I know a border will help, and I need to look up border ideas too, so that's a thing. But I know the border will help with that scalloped look, because it helped when I connected all the squares together, sort of flattened them all out. Anyway, so I'm pretty proud of that, because I hadn't crocheted, aside from this up here, I hadn't crocheted since my oldest was, I want to say 3 or 4. So it's been like 6 or 7 years, and I picked it up pretty quickly. So go me. Let me know what you think of the blanket. It's not a Christmas present. She knows that I'm making this, by the way. I was considering wrapping it up for her, but she has expressed interest in potentially taking it to school if I finish it before this time next week, because she has a day next week where she's allowed to take, she's allowed to wear pajamas and take a stuffy and a blanket and stuff to school. And so she has said that she'd like to be able to take this if it's ready. So we'll see what happens. So that's my works in progress, which is not a lot, but that's okay, I guess. I do have my next card project sorted. I've decided the Stitch Along by Needle Lot Designs, which is the Secret Grove Stitch Along that I still haven't started, but that's okay. That's going to be my new card project. I am hoping that that will work out well because, and I'm nervous because it is on navy. Oh, I need to talk quickly. Because it is on navy fabric. So that's a little bit nerve-wracking. But anyway, some stuff that's been happening with Stitchy related, Two Little Kits related things. My Etsy store's been doing really well. I still haven't finished setting up the second Etsy store that I've been talking about. I've been distracted and busy, and life has been so hectic lately, just with being a parent. Nothing in particular, just parenting in general. It's been a lot to handle, so I haven't been able to sit down and focus on setting up listings on that. But my normal Etsy store has been doing amazing, which is really nice to see. Fonts have been popping off, basically, which is awesome. I wish that I could see what people make with them. That would be the best. And sometimes I do get to, like, they'll write me a review and they'll leave a photo with what they've made, which is like, that's so cool. Thank you for sharing. I wanted to share that good news that my Etsy store has been doing awesome. And there was a time actually where I was listening to an audiobook that I'm still listening to now, and they were talking about the main character was setting up their own shop, and they got their first sale, and then my phone went cha-ching because Etsy gave me a sale. It was like amazing timing. I thought it was very funny. The other thing that is going to happen that's Stitchy related is I realized today actually that I am super far behind with my own family portraits. I will share what I'm up to actually, because why not? So this is 2022. That's why I laughed, because I saw the 2022. So that's what I'm up to. I still haven't even started stitching the last year's portrait, and I haven't even designed this year's portrait yet. So all I have to do is hair for this. So I am planning my goal. My goal is to finish this by the end of this year and get started on 2023's before the end of this year. And then hopefully maybe get 2023's done within the first maybe like 2 or 3 months, and be able to get started on this year's one, but next year. That would be awesome. I want to get them all caught up and then framed and hung up, because I want to share how I've got them set up in my house. But right now, the latest portrait that's on my wall is actually 2018, because I have slacked. So go me. Website related, I have a couple of new blog posts that are on my website. I have the titles of them here, so excuse me for looking away. But I've got 3 new posts. One of them is about a change that is happening today I talked about it last FlossTube because I knew today would be the cutoff date, but today I am actually going to be removing shipping to the EU because it's the last day that you can without having to do the regulation BS, basically. So yeah, I had that post within the last 2 weeks set up. So there's that one. Then there's also embroidery as a self-care practice, and that's just like mental health related because, you know, that's important to me. That's what I like to bring into my business. So check that one out. The links for all of these will be in the description below. And the last one is A Cross Stitcher's Guide to Year-Long Projects, which is kind of a not so subtle link back to my 2 DIY cross stitch patterns, the Flower Field and the Flower Meadow. Just a reminder that Flower Meadow is still 15% off until the end of this year. So grab that, you know, go to the link below and you have to go to the link within that post, or no, forget that. I will link Flower Meadow in the description. That's what I should say. And the discount is applied at checkout. So you don't have to put in any code or anything like that. Just, yeah, add to cart and check it out. So yeah, that post has some other year-long project ideas that you can do in it as well. So I highly recommend checking out that post. It was fun to look for other projects that were designed for year-long progression. So I hope you like it. The last thing is just IRL stuff. Basically, I don't have anything else in my list of things to chat about that isn't IRL. So there's only a couple of bits and pieces. One of them, we'll start with the bad news, I guess, and end with some good news. So there's that. The bad news is I went back to my foot doctor because I've been having a lot of sharp stabbing pain in my toe that I demolished 3.5 years ago. We are going back to basics, and right now I'm doing Epsom salt baths with slathering Voltaren all over my toe twice a day. The baths once a day, Voltaren twice a day. Doing that for 2 weeks, seeing how things feel, which obviously leads into Christmas time. So I was told I can just email an update about that. The next step would be physical therapy again, which I don't understand how that would help, but I'm not a doctor, so. But I got an x-ray done and internally my toe looks awesome, so that's good. But yeah, the fact that I am having a lot of pain to the point where I haven't been able to go to martial arts for 2 weeks is bad, especially for my mental health. So yeah, there's that. The next thing is I went to my dermatologist. I go every 6 months just because I'm very pale, and I was raised in Australia and had lots of sunburn, and I'm just very hyper aware of skin issues basically. So I went to my dermatologist. It had actually been 12 months because my 6-month appointment 6 months ago got mixed up, and I accidentally cancelled it instead of confirming the appointment. And you have to book so far out in advance to see this dermatologist. And so I'm just like, whatever, I'll just see her in December. So yeah, I had that, and I actually had 2 freckles removed from my body because one we've been keeping an eye on. It was, I had a mirror freckle. So if this is my foot, right, this is my left foot. So this toe is bleh. Right in here on the middle toe, on the side of it, I got a freckle removed like 2 years ago because it grew really quickly and it was irregularly shaped and all of that. I had another one on the other toe in exactly the same spot, and these only came up like this. The left one came up about 15 years ago and the right one came up about 10 years ago. And so we've been keeping an eye on both. I got the left one removed a couple of years ago, and I've been keeping an eye on the right one, and I noticed over the last 4 weeks or so that it had grown quite a bit. So I pointed that out, and she's like, I don't like that. Let's get rid of that. I'm like, yeah, I thought you might say that. So that's still healing. That's been a week now. And that's still very sore because there's no fat there to cushion anything. And ugh. And then she's doing an all body scan and she finds a freckle on my side. Like it's right there. Like you can't really see my side because this is a big jumper now. But right there on my rib cage, it's so sore because like you move your body, you know, it doesn't have the ability to just scab over and stay contained nicely, if you know what I mean. But she saw that one and she's like, you know, well, when's that one come up? I'm like, I don't know, I didn't even know I had one there. So she looked at it really close and she didn't like how it looked, so that one got removed too. But the good news is, oh, that's part of that project. That was my needle from the Night of the Frost Dragon. Anyway, the good news is both of them came back benign, so hooray! And the last thing that I did over the last 2 weeks was I donated blood, so that's also a hooray. But the cool thing is, and I was not expecting this, was that I donated, it was my 8th visit, so I have officially donated 1 gallon. And they gave me this little friend. It's a 1 gallon pin. How cool is that? So I'm going to be putting that up here because this is my enamel pin board. This isn't needle minders, this one's needle minders. So I'll be putting that up there. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Oh, but yeah, so I've done more, I've been to more donations than that. There's been one time where I had to leave because they were running really behind and I had another appointment I needed to get to. So I had to say, I'm so sorry, but I've got to go. There was another time where I didn't fill the bag. It was in my left arm, which is nowhere near as good with a vein. My arm blew out and I started feeling really faint. So they pulled the plug early and so that one didn't count. So I have technically been to 10 appointments, but I've officially donated 8 times, 8 pints of blood, which is a gallon. So that's really cool. And yeah, I was not expecting a little pin. Oh, gosh. I can't explain why. It just was like, oh, that's so nice. So yeah, anyway. So that's everything. Yeah, I guess not really. My youngest daughter didn't go to school yesterday. She woke up at like 6:30 in the morning and puked everywhere in her bed, which I am still trying to fix the next day. She slept on the spare bed that's actually behind this last night because her bed was still gross. I'm trying another tactic on how to fix that mattress because it's just, oh, it stinks so bad. It's like acidic pizza because she had pizza the night before. I have a feeling because she's the only one that got sick and she had her own pizza, like just a little small one. So I'm wondering if there was something funky with her pizza because she was fine after she puked. Anyway, but yeah, so there was that, and as my husband pointed out, I woke up to that. I woke up to my oldest being all like and grumpy grizzly because she wanted to go to school. No, that's the thing. She wanted to go to school like right then. So she was mad because she wasn't already at school. I'm PMSing like a mofo and the cats were yelling at me to get fed and my husband's come downstairs and he's just like, you are having the experience this morning, aren't you? I'm like, yes. So yeah, but other than that, there's been nothing. I have an appointment for my oldest today. I have to pick her up a little bit early, but I still get there at the same time because I wait in the pickup line. And my youngest is doing a play date because I had to pick up oldest from school early. So she's going home with her best friend today, which she's very happy that she's not sick still. And so am I. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Because I have to go and my nose is itchy and it's bothering me so bad. But thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment below about the couple of things that I asked for feedback on. That would be amazing. If you do buy any of my fonts, like people have been on Etsy, whether you buy them on Etsy or on my website, either one is fine with me. I would love to see how you use them. So please shoot me a message on social media or via email. If you've purchased properly, you will have my email address. Yeah, shoot me a photo of what you've done. I would love to see, and I would love to share if that's okay with you. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I will see you on the internet. Bye.